Hey guys, it's Em. I'm actually here to talk about my first year of uni because I finished, and that's a really quite weirdly crazy thought. I've actually also got a pizza here, Exhibit A. I'm actually filming this video to talk all about uni, and particularly Falmouth Uni. If you guys have followed my channel along for a while, you will know that I didn't even think I was going to come to uni. Back like 2 years ago when I finished school, I was like, I'm probably not going to go to uni. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't think it'll be uni. And I decided to do an art foundation. Did my art foundation, realised like 3 months in that I really wanted to study photography, so I applied for 5 unis. I applied to Falmouth for 2 courses, UE, Gloucestershire and Edinburgh. I got places at all of them, but I've chose Falmouth, and I particularly chose Falmouth for the course Press and Editorial Photography, which is the course I'm on now. I get a lot of questions about my course, and I figured it was just best to do like a run through of what I've learned this year, what I've learned like mentally and physically, and also just basically just having a chat about like how I found it, because if anyone else normally watches my videos, you'll know that I have absolutely loved my first year. I've got my portfolio box here. I'm not going to go through my work. I'm going to link my Instagram account that I use for all of my photography. It's not the one that I use related to YouTube. I'll link that down below, and you can give it a follow, give it a look, whatever, because that kind of shows like my work side of things. I'm just going to keep this video to like feedback and stuff. I applied for photography and Press and Ed. Chose Press and Ed because it has much more of like a business focus. One of the first modules you learn about is called professional practice, and you're basically tasked to make a website, make business cards. So each semester you have 3 different modules. It kind of works, there's kind of 2 semesters for first year, because there's only 6 modules, and the third semester finishes at like the very beginning of May. For semester 1 there's units PET 110, PET 120, PET 130. PET 110 is titled Building Blocks to Press Editorial Photography. I'm not going to give you like all of the names of like the actual things you do, because otherwise there'll be nothing to like learn about. There's basically you're marked on 2 different things. You're marked on your portfolio, so the work you actually submit, it's like it's basically an entirely practical unit, because the other section is just like you keep a blog and you just put all of like your research and your findings for what you're doing onto that blog. It's like sketchbook work at A level, but on like a digital form. I passed that one with the 2-1, so I was pretty happy with that. There's a few different things you're shooting, so you have to do like a series in the studio, you have to do a series of portraits, you have to do a series of something else I'm not going to talk about because I want that to be a surprise. It's a really open unit. Like, that's the one thing about this course. It is so free you could do anything you wanted. A lot of my work has gone down the music route, but it doesn't matter that it's all just music or all just portraits. That's just my style. A load of my friends shoot sport, a load of my friends shoot fashion. Like, everyone's doing something different, and it doesn't affect your grades at all. It's what you want to do. That 120 was communication, copyright and business practice. This is the unit that I enjoyed so much. It's all about website design and business cards and branding, and it's really interesting. And then PET 130 is an essay and presentation. This unit, I think I ended up with a 2-2 or a 2-1 overall. I didn't really enjoy this unit as much, and there's a common theme in that anything that involves essays and presentations I'm not so much of a fan of. I actually enjoyed the essay side of things of this. I really didn't enjoy the presentation. I didn't do very well on it, but that's okay. We're just going to skim over that one. So moving into second term, and I'll talk about like the projects and stuff. So you have PET 140, PET 150 and PET 160. I enjoyed second term far more than I enjoyed first term in terms of the actual like creative practice. So one of my best friends at uni, Charlotte, does music. I met her through work, and I met her in October. She's now become one of my closest friends, and when we met at work I never imagined the kind of like the doors that meeting her would open up at all, and I have a lot to thank her for. She's amazing. I freaking love her. So yeah, I met Charlotte in October and did a lot of work with her for my first semester, and then I also made friends with a lot of her friends, did a lot of work with them for second semester. So my work became really strong because all the people I was photographing were all in bands, but were also all really good friends of mine, so you could kind of tell through my photos that we were all like a massive friendship group. PET 140, which was the practical unit, I can't remember how many modules, like how many sets of photos there were. I think there were 5. There were like a few, you had to tell a few stories. We did a day trip to St Ives and you had to tell a story of that. We went to London with our course for a week in April, or was it March? I'm not actually sure. I think it was March. That was really fun, and you had to do a 5 picture story from London, and then you had to do a few other stories that you like set up. So for Pet 140 I got a really high first for all my work, and I was so happy with that. I put so much effort into my photos this term because I found that I really found my feet. I found a group of people that I could photograph really confidently, and I was producing work that I was really proud of, and it's the strongest work I've ever produced, and I was just genuinely really happy with it. Pet 150 was another essay and presentation. The essay, is safe to say that I kind of flunked. I got a 3rd for that. I've now spoken to my tutor and figured out why and what I need to do to improve that, but let's just say it wasn't the strongest part of the term. But my presentation, it was a group presentation, and we got a 2-1 for that, and I was really happy with that because we put a lot of work into it. And then for Pet 160, Pet 160 is a module where you learn about different publications. So you have to produce 4 different magazine spreads, and out of those 4 different magazine spreads, you come up with the ideas yourself. One of them has to be about plastic pollution, and the other 3 you can do whatever you want, but you have to mimic an already created publication. You basically had to create like A3 layouts of different magazines. It was awesome. It was so much fun, and yeah, I really enjoyed that because I did publications that I personally really enjoyed doing. If you shoot a lot anyway, you can basically just use your personal material and put it into the course and just link the 2 together. That's what I've ended up doing, and it's worked really well for me. And I'm very happy. I basically finished first time, although it doesn't matter because it's only pass or fail. I've finished with a very high 2-1, and I'm very happy with that indeed. The finish point to those projects was the 8th of May, so although you went home for Easter, semester 2 kind of just continued and finished on May 8th, which was really nice. And then in the evening we had our uni press awards. I vlogged all of that. I made so many new friends in second term. I really like found my way into the 2nd and 3rd years, and gained a lot of new friends, and pushed a lot of personal projects of my own. So Freshers Week was very different to most other unis freshers. There were 3 main events at the Stannery, which is now where I work. I now work at the Stannery, but I didn't at the time of freshers. So there's 3 main freshers events, and there was stuff going on in town. I don't actually think I went into town at all for the entire freshers. It's a very relaxed Freshers Week, and I say that very loosely. There's a lot of stuff going on. You can do what you want with it. I didn't do much at all, not for no particular reason. We just as a flat did a lot of movie nights, and we went out for dinner, and it was more like we found a friendship group, so we did a lot amongst ourselves. I would say I would really recommend buying a wristband. Even if your flat don't go to the events, it's so much better use of money, and it means that you can pre-drink with everyone else and turn up at the event whatever time. First term was really fun. We did a trip to the Eden project with our course, which was awesome, which meant that I properly made friends with a lot of the people on my course. Yeah, first time was great. I had a really good time. I think I only went home once. I went home in November for a weekend to see all of my home friends. I've lived in Glasney View, but there's also Glasney Park. Glasney is such a good place to live. If you're looking at Falmouth Uni, it's Penryn campus. I can get out the top of my block and along in 3 minutes and be in uni. Like, it's so close. It's literally on the hub. Like, I can get to the Stannery in 3 minutes as well. Like, everything is so close together. I've got friends who live in the Sidings as well, which is down by the train station, which is like a 10-minute walk from uni. The Sidings is so nice. Like, it's a much smaller place to live. There's a lot less students, but the actual like facilities in the Sidings are really nice. The rooms are a bit smaller, but you have like you have more of a communal area, and you have a sofa area, and it's really nice. It's much more modern. Glasney is quite run down and outdated in comparison, but I still like living here. But I also spend a lot of time in town. Like, I will get the bus into town and spend my days in town, spend my days on the beach, and go to cafes and do my work, because I find that I can't really work in my room. So it's versatile. The buses are only £1 to get into town, and it's about a 15-minute bus. It's really not far at all. I'm living in Falmouth next year though, so I'll be like 15 minutes from uni, like by car or bus, and I'm really looking forward to actually living in town and being able to just like wander in and grab a coffee and sit in a coffee shop and do my work. And there's some really good places to be able to do your work in town, because you can take your own food in and just buy a drink and just sit there for hours. If you want a job at uni, I would apply as soon as you get down here. There's quite a lot, but like you have to look for it, and you basically just have to go into everywhere and give in your CVs. I was really lucky because the Stannery, which is like the on-campus like bar or like student union, whatever you want to call it, they were hiring in October. I have never had any bar experience. I basically just applied on a bit of a whim, somehow got an interview, got a job there, and have worked there ever since. So I was very lucky. Falmouth Uni life, it's very different to a lot of different unis. I've been talking to quite a lot of people about this. Falmouth is very DIY in the sense that there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's very much student run, and because a load of students are plonked in in a little seaside town, students basically just make stuff for themselves. So you'll just have beach barbecues in the evenings, and you'll go sit with all of your mates and have massive campfires, and you'll go on weird nights out to like random little pubs, and you'll basically go on loads of pub crawls. There's like no nightlife, so a lot of stuff happens at the Stannery. They put on big events there. It's very different to a lot of uni lives, because it's not a typical uni where you just would go out 3 times a week. It's much more organic than that. Another thing is you live with Exeter students. Half my flat are actually Exeter and half of us are Falmouth. I really recommend coming down for an open day if you're considering coming down here. It's not a big city. It is literally a seaside town in Cornwall that gets filled up with students, and it's really small. You'll walk down the high street, and I tend to bump into like at least one person, you know, when you're literally just walking down the high street. You always see people. Everyone knows each other's business, but it's really nice in that sense. It's a massive like family spirit, and it's been the best year, and I'm really excited to come back for second year and get stuck into even more projects and do even more cool things. Like, I've done so much stuff already this year. It's been a really wild year. Just go back and watch the vlogs if you want to know, because there's been a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I'm gonna go now because I want to finish my pizza. I'm gonna make a video all about freshers and also some like advice for living in halls, but that'll go up a few weeks. I'll film that in September. No, I'll film that in August to go up at the end of August before everyone like moves in. There's no point doing it now because it's the end of the year. But no. See you later, alligator.